Andrea, and welcome back to another episode of Mastering Social Media for Schools. So excited to have you here today to talk about summer content. Summer is coming, and it's going to be like the best summer ever because last summer, of course, none of you had a summer because of the pandemic. And hopefully this summer you will get a break. But a lot of times we get questions about what should social media look like for summer and what kind of ideas do you have because there's not as many people around and what should we be posting? Well, today, Heidi Feller and I, my Chief Inspirational Officer here at Social School for EDU, we are going to have a little bit of an entertaining discussion. But we've got, I think, over 10 ideas for you, easy ideas for you to use for social media this summer, and you are going to absolutely love it. And I just want to give a shout out to, her as a guest because she's actually getting mentioned in reviews. Melly B recently said, on our podcast review, love this podcast so much. Andrea always has great guests who are in the school PR trenches every day, and it is so helpful to hear their stories. Love it when Heidi is on too. She's a hoot. So you guys, if you love this podcast as much as Melly B does, and you also think Heidi is a hoot, make sure to drop us a review. We would really, really appreciate it. Now, talking about summer, I just got to give you guys a heads up because our summer social media boot camp is filling up. We're already half full. I think we've got about 15 spots left. And at the time this airs, we might have fewer than that. I know we will be full at 30 people by the end of May. So if you're listening to this and you want to like take your social media to the next level by getting some hands-on, like it's virtual, but it is intensive, like social media training to help you be a better storyteller, get the basics right, deep dive into Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and YouTube. We just had somebody say it was the best PD that they have been a part of in years. We've got a lot of other information on our website under our boot camp program. That is only $395 to grab your seat. And I promise you it is going to be worth it. So if you love listening to this podcast, if you really want to take your storytelling to the next level, check out that social media boot camp before it's too late, because otherwise you're going to have to wait until fall. And that's going to be happening in October and November of 2021. But without further ado, let's get started talking all about summer content in today's episode. All right, you know that we like to kick off every podcast episode with a K-12 PR tip, just an easy tip to make social media a little bit easier. And today we're actually talking about Throwback Thursday, #TBT. What these are posts that you share every Thursday. We share them at 6 a.m. in the morning, and they're a picture from an old yearbook. Okay. They're incredible, like flash from the past, right? A throwback to all of the fun things, the hairdos, what we were wearing, maybe the cars we were driving, the technology we were using. It's so fun. I would really encourage that you continue to do your Throwback Thursdays over the summer. And guess what? I got a special little gift for you. I have a download of 52 caption ideas to help drive engagement on your Throwback Thursdays. We've got spirit. Yes, we do. We've got spirit. How about you, right? Who didn't do that cheer, right, in school? At least I did in the 90s. But we've got a whole bunch of ideas waiting for you in the show notes. So check that out. And definitely, if you have done Throwback Thursdays before, but you haven't been consistent, or if you were wondering, should I keep doing it over the summer? The answer is yes, you should. Get consistent. Let your community look forward to those posts. When I go to school board conventions, because I do that to network and connect with schools and school leaders, those school board members say their favorite day of the week is Thursday because they get to see those Throwback Thursday pictures. So I hope that tip helps. And now let's get into a lot more tips about summer content. Let's go. Welcome back to the podcast, Heidi Feller.
Woohoo! I have so many words to use about today's topic, you guys. This is going to be so exciting. You need to get a cup of tea, maybe have a bathroom break, because this podcast is going to be about 3 hours long. Good luck.
No, it isn't. We promise it won't because they can look at the time thing.
They
But it is going
can.
to be fun talking about summer content. And those of you that can see, we're on YouTube now. So Heidi did her hair. We got matching outfits on, except Heidi, what's up with your logo?
Well, here's what you guys need to know about this. If you'll notice, it's do not adjust the color on your screen. You are indeed looking at two different shades of purple for the Social School for EDU official team pullover. Andrea has the new one on, or as I like to say, this year's prom dress. I, however, sporting last year's prom dress. Not as cute, not going to be prom queen. That title belongs to Andrea.
But I do have your
So,
new one here and it'll be shipping soon. So, yeah, we did a little refresh branding. I don't know if you guys even noticed, but it didn't change a lot. We still got the megaphone because we still have a lot of words to get out to the world. But we changed it up just a little bit. And you guys all know how important branding is with your school and all of that. So, all right, it's almost summer.
it is. It's 47 degrees out and I have wool socks on. You are correct, Andrea. If you're in Wisconsin, that can only mean one thing. It's almost summer.
Yep, exactly. So, we get a lot of questions on this, Heidi, about summer's coming. What should our social media look like? So let's just start with the first question is how often should we be posting in the summer?
Well, I mean, you and I didn't talk about this before, and I'm not a math girl, so I hope I get the answer right. The answer is, I'm not going to give you an actual number. The answer is not as much as during the school year because you deserve a break. Everybody deserves a break, but you absolutely do not want Facebook, your best friend, to forget about you and your district story. So I would say 2 to 3 times a week, at least, maybe more if you have a robust summer school program or you've got a district campus that stays busy truly all year round. Did I get it right?
Yeah, I think, because we strive to do 3 posts a week on Facebook. Twitter and Instagram, we're trying to post at least once a week for the schools we serve. But a really good goal, and with all the ideas we're going to give to you today of things, if you could post once a day during the week, Monday through Friday, if you could post just once a day, I think that's a really great goal to have. And like I said, with the ideas that we're going to have, we'll you won't have a problem with coming up with content. And, some of you may not have summer school again this year, or maybe you will, and then that'll be fun to celebrate. So you could definitely can do that, but don't overstress yourself. And definitely, we say this all year long, we get more engagement during the week than we do on the weekends, right?
Absolutely. I will tell you if you post on a weekend, unless it's who is the prom king or queen, P.S. It wasn't me,
Wasn't me
then
either.
see, it doesn't matter. I feel like our best days are yet to come. I don't want to peak too early.
Right.
And so I feel like 51 is the year that this is
43 for me. Yeah.
feeling good about it. Yes. No, I would say absolutely. That's what you want to keep in mind for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And work-life balance, harmony, all of that. So when we're thinking about summer content, you already referred to a little bit of summer school, if you've got that going on. What are some other ideas, and maybe you and I can kind of just go back and forth, but some of the best summer ideas that you've seen for schools, or maybe that you're planning to do? Because you guys remember, Heidi and I, we still manage social media every single day for the schools that we're a part of. We live in the communities where we're doing it. And so we're coming up with what we're doing for summer too. So that's why it's a good thing we're having this podcast.
Right. Because clearly I forgot that summer will be arriving. And so I'm like, what am I going to post? I will say that here as the account manager for the district that I still do in terms of summer school, because we will be having a summer school program, is that I will be sure as the account manager to make sure that all summer school staff are reminded of the social media email address. In other words, what's the system for submitting content so that we keep some great day in and day out school activities, in people's social media feeds. So that's the number one thing I would say. Another really great idea that I have seen used in a number of districts, and we did use it here in Reedsburg, was your staff probably has a staff t-shirt somewhere, right? Some great branding. And so encourage your teachers and other staff members before they leave the building in the summer to make a point of wearing that t-shirt someplace, maybe Devil's Lake, that's around where I live, that kind of a thing, and then send in a photo and say what they're doing over the summer. Right? Or maybe some of the, maybe what they're reading. That's another thing that we have done in the past. But it's a great way to sort of combine branding, and some cool things that you keep a teacher's face on Facebook, that kind of a thing, to keep families connected.
I
So,
love that. And another idea off of the school spirit summer, like where are you in the world, which hopefully we can be somewhere besides our living rooms this summer, as opposed to last summer, kind of at the beginning of the pandemic yet, but is having even students submit photos of them in their gear. You guys hopefully have a really cool hashtag, like a cane with our Hayward shirts. And it's like, hey, if you're celebrating or you're, vacationing somewhere or even reading a book somewhere, but if you can also have the school swag on, it just really helps build that branding. And so I think that's another thing. And contests, you guys, can be super easy. Like you can just say, hey, post a picture down in the comments below, which you have to make sure you can set up your Facebook account to have those comments below. Or you say, just email in your pictures over the summer. And then biggest tip is every time you share a picture of somebody, in a new location with their shirt on, you say, hey, if you have a picture of your vacation showing your, spirit gear, send it into, and then you give them an opportunity to submit that content, because then it will help propel and get through all summer.
absolutely, great idea. I
Awesome.
love that
What
idea.
else
And
you got?
you could make that a contest.
Yes.
FYI, right? You've got other school swag, and maybe you have some new and improved school swag, and maybe it's a great, water bottle or something like that. Offer it. Say to anybody who sends in a photo to the social media email address, sporting school swag, saying where they are for the summer or what they're doing or what they're reading, will have their name entered into, the possibility of winning some good school swag, right?
Absolutely.
Another idea I think that always, always, always is a good idea is to keep up with some, not all, because remember, you have to have a break too as a school PR person, but to keep up with some of the regular features that you do. And the first one that always comes to mind is Throwback Thursday. So at the time of recording, Facebook is currently allowing us to schedule out 6 weeks of Facebook
Well,
posts.
it's 75 days, which 75 divided by 7 is about 10 and a half weeks, I think, because I've had to do this math on the spot before. So it's about 10 weeks.
Okay, so, and I don't actually do math, so there you have it. So 10 weeks, 6 weeks sounds like a story problem, makes me want to cry thinking about third grade math. So about 10 weeks. So that's almost the length of summer break for many of us. So you could take 45 minutes, put on some really great music, right? Bruno Mars has some new music out.
Or German
And
rap. Heidi likes German
or
rap.
dirty German rap. And well, I was going to leave that part out, but nah, let's not. P.S. The swear words are the same in both languages. But you could put on some really loud music and schedule out all of your Throwback Thursdays for the summer, and you could have a bit of a summer theme. Now, don't drive yourself nuts, if you will, searching out for all of this summery type photos. You can be creative and take a regular photo, if you will, and put a summer spin on it. But I say keep up with some of your summer features. And on that note, one thing that I would maybe refrain from or not drive yourself crazy with is coming up with like a new feature for the summer, like a wellness Wednesday or something like that. I'm not saying that those aren't a good idea. What I'm saying is that families are out and about. And this year, of course, we're really going to be happy to be out and about and be at the beach. And so eventually those sort of like lose their luster, if you will. And as we learned again yesterday from Emily, one of our teammates, Andrea, what is the name of the game on Facebook in terms of engagement?
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's what we want.
We say
We want
content is
to,
king, engagement is queen. And if you're not engaging people, then why really post it, right? So, just on the note of Throwback Thursdays, to make it easy, I'm going to include in the show notes the 52 captions for Throwback Thursday pictures. So that makes it even easier while you're listening to your Dirty German rap, that you don't have to get
mhm.
super creative about having to come up with a cute caption. Because Stephanie Sins, our awesome chief people officer, she came up with a list of 52 ideas with our team, and they're amazing. And so we're here to make your job easier.
Right. Don't reinvent the wheel. Genius borrows. And then say you did it, right?
Yes.
Be like, yeah, I totally came up with these.
Yeah.
I also invented the internet, but that's a whole other topic.
That's a whole other topic. Okay. So I gotta say, another idea, and this is definitely came up with our discussion with Emily Schutte, who just attended some of the social media marketing world training that used to last year we were there in person. This year we had to, it was just virtual. But she had some great ideas, but it's just asking simple questions. And this would be great for a summer thing, whether it's a talking Tuesday or if you're asking questions that are, take you back. It could be like a flashback Friday type of a question. But we had amazing results. And we just recently had a 5-day Facebook challenge where we really amped up the engagement. I'm talking like increase of engagement by 1000%. Like, it was unbelievable the engagement that they got. But, asking simple questions like the best teacher I ever had was, or, who was your fourth grade teacher? Like, who was your fourth grade teacher, Heidi?
Oh my
Oh, you
gosh.
you know this, right?
Mrs. Hempel.
Oh,
Mrs. Hempel. Beauty Hempel, and she's on Facebook. I'll be sure to tag her in this. Whoa,
yes.
I almost lost.
You
Sorry.
almost did. Mrs. Anderson was my fourth grade teacher. Like, you
Mhm.
remember and you ask easy questions. Coming up, which by the way, you'll probably get this maybe for before graduation, alumni roll call, another really easy one, not necessarily summer. Somebody asked, like, do you remember your first car? Or like, who taught driver's ed? Well, you're not only going to remember your driver's ed teacher, which was Mr. Krekel for me, but you're going to remember the time when you almost drove down the wrong way on a one way, right? And he had to like use the chicken brake in the, like, people remember those memories, and then they start putting them on your Facebook page, and it just brings up engagement, which, guess what, Heidi, it helps all of your content be seen by more people, right?
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely. Yeah.
and we
And a well-placed question really goes a long way. And you can even pepper in some summer themed questions. Favorite ice cream,
yes.
right?
Hmm.
Those types of things.
Exactly. And the trick is, Heidi, the graphic should be the question. Okay. And a lot of people are having success with just like the background color that you can use on your personal page, which you can't use on a business page, which kind of drives me nuts. But why don't you get the picture ready on Facebook on your own personal page, take a screenshot, and then put it over on your school page, schedule it out, because we are getting it just looks a little different. It's not quite as branded, you guys. So we've been talking about branding, but sometimes making it look a little bit different and very simple, it's going to garner engagement. It's going to garner comments, and comments are a good thing for your social media pages.
Yeah, and I think taking a break from some of the branding is important. I think that we definitely want everyone to understand that when things scroll across their feed from a specific school district's Facebook page, oh yes, we know that it's New Auburn because it's that royal blue and that yellow. That being said, eventually people become numb or blind to it, and so to sort of jog their eyeballs a little bit helps. And then when you return in the fall, if you will, to more of that branding, maybe to remind folks of online registration or in-person registration or the first day of school, it'll kind of jog their eyeballs again back to the business, if you will.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, one thing that you've done in the past is a little bit of trivia.
Oh
So,
yeah. Oh yes.
so tell me
Yes.
about that.
We've done trivia two different ways. One was just sort of some general trivia and brain teasers, if you will, right? So then it would be an opportunity where mom or dad or grandma or grandpa who saw this come across their Facebook feed, if you will, would involve the kids that they're in their house, right? If you have 4 pennies and you take away 3 pennies, What do you have? A calculator? I don't know. I don't know the answer and I don't want to know the answer, but we've done that, right? Like a brain teaser. And that's been really fun to get kids involved, kind of a thing. But we've also done some trivia that relates to staff, which is, kind of cool, right? Maybe a throwback Thursday photo of like, can somebody name this prom king? Right, Dave Moon, those types of things, or what year did Webb Middle School open up? And it opened up as the high school, those kinds of things, and those are a lot of fun too.
Yeah, because you had an awesome, like currently there are, 2,851 students enrolled in our district. How many of these Reedsburg Pride students ride the bus on a daily basis? And you did A, B, C, or D. Do you remember how many comments you got on that post?
I have no idea, but now I do remember. Also, this would pertain to our team meeting from this morning. I'm 51, so I'm like, I don't know. Have we met? Hi, I'm Heidi. I don't remember anything I've done. On how many comments did I have?
So you had 78 comments on that trivia question. That happened to be in March, but this would be an easy summer question because it's teaching people about the district and what it takes to run the district, and how many meals did we serve, or like there's some things that they have to get ready for reports anyways. And I love that this question had A, B, C, or D. It wasn't just a how many. Because you don't like math, Heidi, so you can pick
I
a
don't
letter
like math.
instead.
Yeah, that was letters, number one. So that helped and it forced people to answer, if you will. The other thing is that I did with that was I did have a Google Doc, right?
Yep.
Am I right? Good. Oh, I love it when I'm right and I can actually remember what I did. But I had a Google Doc that linked in that post, if you will, and it was the same document that had the answers to all of them on there. So they were a series of questions that were done over maybe a week or 2 weeks or something along those lines. And the Google Doc I had set to permission that anyone on the web could see. But it did force people, number one, to read all those answers, number two, give a guess, A, B, C, or D, and then lastly, to actually click on that and give the answer. And I thought that was really actually quite important. Instead of having to come back or do a new post and give the answers, you just can't guarantee with the algorithm of Facebook that people are going to see them. And also, hi, squirrel, none of us has an attention span. And so if you put the answers out on a Friday or at the end of the summer, my gosh, even I, who posted them, can't remember what the questions were.
Right. And we have an example. You guys can actually see what she did exactly in a blog that I'll link in the show notes. It was for summer of 2020, 10 post ideas for your school. So I think it was number 8 or something on that list. So you can actually see what she did there. Another idea that I think is important is a lot of times in the summer, there's activities going on, whether it's a major remodeling project or even little things that are happening. Classes are getting switched around, or the floors are getting cleaned, or just the fact of some people work year round at your school. And so I think getting some of those stories out on a regular basis are nice too, because it keeps people connected to what's happening. It's kind of those like behind the scenes type sneak peeks that people are really interested in. So I think that is another idea for some summer content.
I think it's very valuable. It's extremely valuable if you indeed have a building project. If you are building a new middle school or you are resurfacing a gym floor, especially if it related to a yes answer on a referendum, right?
Yep.
And if you are perhaps headed to a referendum, maybe not this coming year, but maybe in 2 years, you're laying the groundwork with posts like that in a really quiet way of showing your Facebook fans and your other fans on social media and your community members, hey guys, we are good stewards of your taxpayer money. And that is stored somewhere back here where I have those other summer ideas. That's stored so that when you overtly ask the question and head to referendum, let's say in the fall of 2022, people remember. They have that good feeling and they're like, these guys are doing a great job. I'm going to vote yes.
Yeah, I love it. Any video ideas that you have for summer content?
Oh gosh, there's a ton of good video ideas. I mean, one that comes to mind is enlist like 7 or 8 of your best friends and teachers who are totally willing to just take that phone and turn it on themselves and have them do a 30-second video. Jenny Heenick comes to mind, Katie Matthews from Reedsburg, they both come to mind. And you have them turn their own phone on them, turn it on a selfie mode, and give a really short video of, hey, this is Mrs. Heenick, and I am missing my second graders so much. And I know you guys are going to do a great job in third grade, and I am really excited to meet my new crop of second graders this year. Those short videos that come straight from the heart, that are, from some of your most beloved staff members, will see great engagement. And we learned from Emily, our teammate, yesterday, that using video consistently, not just in the summer, but all the way around, using video consistently, as you said, Andrea, really boosts the reach of all of your posts, right?
Yeah.
Video always wins out over a static post. Always, always,
Yeah,
always.
and she shared something really interesting. She's going to definitely have to listen to this episode for how much we're quoting. Miss Emily Schutte, the most awesome marketing gal and teammate of all time. But she talked about consistency being like, hey, maybe it's every Friday morning at 8 that you're posting a new video. And so again, if that could be your staff messaging, just every Friday at 8, that Facebook's going to start to favor that and show it to even more people. And we're all fighting that algorithm. So that is like a tip that you should take with you. Another idea for video is just great memories from the school year, or what I was most proud of. So asking students, and this is really easy, and we're all about saving time. So you grab your little phone and you try to get, 10 people out of a classroom, or one out of each classroom. And it's like, what was the thing you're most proud of from this school year? And that, the little kindergartner might say, I made my best friend Johnny, right? And then the next one learned how to read. And then the next one, oh my gosh, I learned how to multiply. You take all the videos, you guys, on the same day, but you post them out and you schedule them out throughout the summer. So it might only take you 45 minutes. And this is a trick. Don't have the kids listen to what everybody else says, because otherwise they all say the same thing, right? Or if it's their favorite memory, it's always going to be like that field trip to the bear sanctuary that they got to go to or something. Sometimes there's really popular things you get to do in each grade. But think about a question that you could share and then post that throughout the summer. I think that's a really great idea. And that's our batching method that we teach a lot of, with our boot camp and with our membership program. We're always just like, you guys, like, make the most of your time, batch, schedule it out, and then enjoy your summer.
And one thing I will add to that, because I have done that in the past, and I know that so many of our other school districts that we serve have done something like that, is don't get bogged down in the details. Don't pick fly poop out of pepper. Don't get bogged down in the details of asking every second grade teacher to send you 3 videos. The fact of the matter is that if you have the one super duper welcoming second grade teacher, Jenny Heenick, and you ask her to do this, or else you do it with her while you're in the room with those second graders, you've got 18 of them to post out. You don't need to put in the text portion of each of those posts when you schedule them out. P.S. I heard through the grapevine that you can schedule up to 10 weeks of Facebook posts. I just
Where'd you
heard that.
hear it?
I don't know, some really great podcast, but you don't need to put in the text portion, Mrs. Heenick's second grader, da da da. You can come up with something really quippy and quick and say, Megan loved the trip to the library, or something like that. Or did you love this memory too in second grade? Give a little bit of a teaser into the video. You don't have to be so formal about Mrs. Heenick's second graders for the 10th week in a row when you're scheduling.
Was that word quippy?
Quippy.
I
That word.
always learn new words when I talk to Heidi. So it's
Sometimes I learn new words when I talk to Heidi. You just never know.
all right. How about new staff? What do you think about that?
Those are huge, humongous, especially because, the young folk are out there and they're entering teaching because it's a calling, and they're out there on social media and they know how to promote themselves like nobody's business. So you take, I'm thinking of a hometown one that we had here, a new third grade teacher who joined our team maybe 2 or 3 years ago. I bet that post reached 4,000 people. those new staff members, and especially the parents of the new staff members, they're so happy that their, daughter or son got a new job, that kind of a thing. So if you're somebody who's in charge of this, or you have something to do with human resources, make sure that you already have your graphic ready, that you can put the photo on of the new staff member. Make sure that you have the standardized email that you're going to send out to every new staff member. So that's part of his or her sort of welcome thing. Or if you're the school PR person and you actually get to stand in front of new staff, PS, you'll be the highlight, because no one wants to sit there and learn how to use Safari and remember the password for 400. Okay. So when you show up, they're like, oh, a real live human. This is going to be awesome. And then you just say, hey, here are the questions. I'm emailing them to you right now, but we would love to feature you out there on our social media channels. And in addition to that, if you happen to be in person in front of all of these new staff members, make sure you gather them all together and grab one good group shot and say, hey, welcome, this year's crop of new teachers to the New Auburn School District, that kind of a thing. But those see some great engagement. And you may have already hired some of your staff for next year.
Yeah.
So start doing it now when school is out.
Yeah, that we have hired quite a few for our little district, and so that's a great idea. I got to get that ready, and you don't have to recreate the wheel, like you said. Have a general form that just here's the questions I need. Make it easy, okay?
Yeah.
So, but definitely get those out there. I think that's big, and then just kind of a final idea for summer content. Social media, you want celebratory things out there. It drives more engagement. However, when you head back to school, there is a lot of information that needs to go out there. One of the top things that we share in the summer are the back to school lists, because all the moms are like sharing it with each other, right? So we make sure that we know what color folders we got to get, and do they got to match the notebooks and all of that stuff. And so you should give some updates in regards to either summer activities or then back to school activities. Don't be afraid of that, but sprinkle it in with some of the other fun stuff, right?
Yep, absolutely. And on that note, as a former school PR person, I would offer this tip as well. When you know what your, let's say, back to school registration dates are, right? Ours is always the first Thursday and the second Tuesday or something like that, or whatever. Feel free to start promoting that early and maybe do it like once a month, but also have it align with the regular direct communication system that you're using. So if a Skylert message, that's what we use here. The Skyward message is going out on a Monday night. Make sure that that message either goes out when the direct one, the Facebook post goes out after the direct message has been sent, or else the next morning. Give people a hot second to listen to their voicemail and read their email, even for something as what you might think as is innocuous as registration dates. Give them a hot second. Let them go ahead and digest that information.
It's a
Then
really
put
good
it
point, because otherwise they'll be like, I didn't know about this.
I didn't get the message. That's because you unclicked the box on your. Please re-click the box. Please re-click. And actually, I have one more caveat or one more tip on this, and that isn't a some social media post for the summer idea. It's rather back to registration, because of course now the summer is zoomed by, because you took all of our ideas and you scheduled them out over 10 weeks listening to your dirty German rap, and now you are thinking ahead to registration. And let's say you have an in-person registration or a virtual one, but there's an in-person packet. For heaven's sakes, take the time to put a piece of paper in there, virtually or real, that talks about the fact that you are celebrating your students and connecting your schools to your community using whatever social media channels you have, and that you advertise that to your families, because you have a whole new crop of families who don't know squat about your social media efforts. So they need to know that. So keep reminding them. Please keep reminding them.
Yes, very good. Good ending point. So, who likes having Heidi on the podcast? Like, I do, and I know because you showed up in a review. You guys, if you love this podcast, and especially if you love Heidi on the podcast, give us a review. We're on Apple. We're on where all your popular podcasts are, but those reviews really help, and then it'll help encourage me getting her back. Almost on a monthly, every 6 weeks. We won't do math. We're not going to do any more math. But
Don't do math. math, right? And we won't ask my mom or your mom to leave a review anymore. We will, right? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of great ones. Hey guys, Heidi and I, we really like making your job easier. And so summer, don't stress yourself. One a day is going to be more than enough. All of these ideas, we gave you a ton of them. We hope you grabbed your tea and went to the bathroom first. But what two are you going to take action on? Okay, what two are you going to take action on? And then email me back. I'm Andrea at socialschoolforedu.com. If you're listening to this and you're like, Andrea, I am definitely going to try asking those easy questions and some school spirit. Okay. Or just tell me what you're working on, because that really it helps me kind of get a pulse on what resonates with you. So any final parting words there, Miss Heidi?
You know what? It turns out I don't have any. I may have used them up in this morning's team meeting.
Yeah.
I know, right? It's teacher appreciation week here, right? It's staff appreciation week, and we absolutely appreciate all of our teaching staff, right?
Yeah.
It takes a village, man. It takes a village.
Yeah,
So
and we're lucky because we get to celebrate them all year long. So we get the easy job, I say, in some cases, except when we get negative comments, which, that's another episode. We're not talking about that today. Thanks so much, everybody, for tuning in this week. Next week we'll be back, obviously, with another awesome episode. Heidi probably won't be here, but she'll be here. Come again, because we've got lots of other great stuff to talk about. Thanks so much for joining us, Heidi. Bye bye.
thanks, guys. Bye.